Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon, and this is another episode of The Hobby Garden, Season 2. So, as you guys know, for those of you who have been following the Hobby Garden series, this summer has been a bit of a struggle. Now, most of that has been due to the excessive rain that has just pounded the garden and made it so messy that I wasn't able to work on it, wasn't able to go into it because I just would have made a mess. Everything had just been planted. And then, of course, because of that, the plants grew really quickly, but so did the weeds. And every time I would try to go in and get the weeds out, well, I didn't have very much luck. There was just way too many. And every time that I tried to catch up, basically it was just, I would catch up, fall behind, that sort of thing. So it was almost like a leapfrog effect. Now, as you guys can see, most of the garden has pretty much been weeded. All in the back here, I will go into more details about this. It's more of just an update for you guys and hopefully give you guys some pointers of what to be mindful of for your gardens, whether it be as you are coming to an end this season or even in next season as well. Now, the one thing that I want you guys to just notice with the way things are right now, everything, everything's coming to an end, obviously, but there are still pumpkins, there's still squash, there's still peppers, tomatoes, spaghetti squash. We have a really nice zucchini plant, which is actually recovered now that we weeded everything, and it is still producing. So by no means is the garden coming to an end anytime soon. We're still in, decent weather. I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, it's October, it's early October, but the thing is, if you still have warm weather, your plants are still going to be producing, as proven by my zucchini plant. So I'm going to give you guys a closer look, kind of go over the good things and the bad things as to what has transpired over the summer so that you guys can learn from it and have a successful garden of your own if you are plagued with the same struggles as I have all summer. Mr. Owl, you are in my shadow. Yes, it's a metaphor, but anyway. So, Mr. Owl, I apologize, haven't been taking care of your garden very well, but you know why. So, here's the deal. We have some spaghetti squash. These are the yellow ones all throughout the garden here. We have peppers, we still have some tomatoes, and, standard tomatoes, and then we have a lot of cherry tomatoes. As you guys can see, we still have some other plants in throughout there, which are actually looking really, really healthy. And the sunflowers, they're not ready yet, but they will be drying out. And once they dry out, the ends of the seeds come off, and then you can actually, either leave them out in the sun if you want, or you can take them inside. You'll have to look up a recipe. I haven't actually roasted any, but so it's one of those spaghetti squash. Like I said, there's a few more kicking around. We have a nice pumpkin over there. I'm going to step through the garden just a little bit. It's still a bit of a mess, but that pumpkin is looking really, really nice. It's small, but it's really nice. And we've also got another one there. And even though the plant stretches all the way out there, there's really nothing left. I'm not going to have anything else growing. So if you guys have this type of thing happening, let it grow. But if there's any flowers or any other pumpkins or whatever growing, just take your cutters and snip them off, because they're just going to take up resources that you really should be focusing on stuff that's already growing, and it is literally on the cusp of being fully developed for the end of October. I mean, these are pumpkins, right? These are pretty much the last things that you're pulling from your garden. Now, like I said, I do have a few plants here that are growing, but I'm just leaving them alone. They were rather stunted, so I'm not entirely sure what they were, so I'm more or less just curious as to what they are. Now, with the zucchini, I pulled off 2 of them earlier in the week, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that, but there are still a few more growing. So there's going to be quite a few zucchini. The corn is all dead, really. There's nothing left of that. We did pull the corn that was on some of the stalks that the deer did not get a hold of, and they were really starchy. So starchy to the point it was literally like you bit into it and it was just so chewy. It was not good. So those didn't go all that well, and this is what is left of the potatoes. The garden, due to the leveling of the ground and everything else, and just the amount of rain that we had and not being able to get in weeding everything, that whole combination basically ruined the potatoes. Normally we have them at this end of the garden and we have no issues whatsoever, but this summer was just much worse than last year. And so unfortunately we didn't really get a chance to do better than last year. Last year I didn't even get that many. I had some really small ones, if you guys remember, and I had enough essentially for one meal. I didn't really get much more than that. So this year we don't even have anything to show. So if I dig these things up, I dig all this grass and weeds up, maybe we'll find something, but I'm guessing we won't. So I think about 3 years ago was probably the best potatoes that we had, and I literally had a full wheelbarrow full of potatoes. So I'm hoping that maybe next season we'll be able to do that again. Plus I'm also going to be looking at adding some dirt, or maybe adding some sort of trench to help drain the garden a little bit better. Now, the one thing that I want to discuss, which is a really big problem, this grass, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but this grass, these long stalks have lots of tiny seeds on them, and they're especially bad right there. That was all in here. We've already picked out most of it, and that's what you guys are seeing over here in this pile, and a little bit over there as well. Now, due to the nature of this grass, I think it's grass, I don't think it's an actual weed, but the way that it spreads is every time an animal or even a human goes and tries to pull it out of the ground or whatever, the seeds fall off really, really easily, and there are actually seeds littered all throughout the garden right now from us removing them. So I have a feeling we are going to be struggling with that next season, just because that's one of those things where it's, to me, I consider it an invasive species, where it's just a nuisance, where there are so many seeds that come off of it that it makes it really hard to manage. So if you guys have something similar to this in your garden, leave it down below in the comments. What is the one thing, I'm gonna classify it as an invasive species. It can be grass, it can be weeds, whatever. What plant, is invading your garden? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are struggling to deal with, because that is what I'm struggling to deal with right now. Other than that, I do have a little bit of mold, but other than that, I can deal with that. I can spray something on the leaves. It's not a big deal, but with the weeds and the grass, it's a really big problem. Well guys, that's it for this episode. The mosquitoes are starting to bite me again, even though it is such a gorgeous day. It's really nice and warm. Someone already bit me on the hand. But yeah, it's been a struggle this summer. You know, we do have a lot of good things going for us. We have a lot of produce, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, peppers, the spaghetti squash, a few pumpkin, quite a few zucchini, as I mentioned. Where is it? Right there. I don't know where I'm going. So zucchini, I'm really looking forward to cutting those up, either frying them. I will post a link to one of the videos that I use where I actually made them into kind of like a stir fry thing. And also zucchini is really great for making zucchini bread. And it's not a bread like a loaf of bread. It's a cake. You can put icing on it if you want to, put some walnuts in it or whatever. So it is what it is. You know, not every season is really good, you know, and this one, you know, it's a bit of a mix, but you know, like I said, mosquitoes are bugging me again. So leave some comments down below. Let me know how you guys are doing this season. Give me an update on whether you guys are having really good success. Let me know what plants are doing really well in your garden. And be sure to smash that like button so that I know that it's working. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you guys get notified of the next video that is posted for the hobby garden. I'm gonna have a few more before the season ends because the weather is still warm. So I'm going to be going through, I'm going to be doing some more weed removal, cleaning things up and prepping for the winter when everything is going to be dormant. So I want a clean slate. So you guys know I'm going to be doing all that work, and I will do my best to post some hands-on videos for you guys so that you know what to do for your own gardens. And if you guys see me doing something wrong, you can always give me some pointers as well, because you know what? This is a hobby garden. I'm not perfect, so I'm just sharing what I do, and it's a great way for us to converse about, you know, sustainability, and I love it. So I will catch you guys in the next one.